Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Aldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now.
Well, they certainly did last night. So I'll definitely take that. Welcome to episode 155 of Sports on Tap Detroit. I'm Chris Scott alongside Joe Wendo. I think it's the first one I've ever fucked up.
Are you okay over there?
No, I'm fucking a lot of shit going on. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's I think it's the only one I've ever fucked up.
It's the first one in a while.
Yeah. So
Let me talk to you.
if I can, yes. I'll see what I can do about that. Yes, with that intro that Joe played, the Bills fans at the stadium heard a lot of that song last night.
That song I think it just kept playing over and over again. I don't think there was any point in time in that game they didn't hear that song.
I think Alicia would have been in heaven right there.
Yeah.
She would have loved it.
They played that fucking song a lot.
And it was well-deserved because they came out and they flat out took Jacksonville to the woodshed last night, which I was very excited to see that. I'm glad to see they're continuing the evolution of their offense, which once they got rid of Stephon Diggs and basically just took a machete to the rest of the roster, we were kind of concerned of, what were the Bills going to look like coming into this season. And I had cautious optimism because my whole thought on it was, well, you haven't won with these guys. Be proactive, get rid of some of these older veterans, and start fresh with some newer, younger players. And go to a more balanced offense instead of just kind of focusing on one receiver, which so far through 3 games, it's seemed to have worked.
I like how you said so far through 3 games, though.
Yes, because there's going to be struggles. There's going to be some. Some times that they're going to struggle. It's going to happen.
It shows you're not being a Lions fan, and just they're never going to lose a game. They're so great. Listen, the NFL season. There's multiple seasons within the NFL season.
Oh, for sure.
So
you look at the schedule they have coming up. That's not easy.
No. But I will say right now, man, they look like world beaters. And
they do.
Granted, Jacksonville is not a world beater in themselves.
No.
So, you got to take that into account. But they put an ass whooping on them. Last night, the only difference between them and P. Diddy is P. Diddy uses lube. That's the only difference.
That's a good analogy. I like that. And for a league that you really don't see a lot of ass kickings like that,
yeah.
When you see it, it's like, yeah, okay, they played really well, really well. And frankly, teams like that you should beat, you hammered them, which is awesome. And it's a good sign. But like I said, there's going to be some struggles along the way. It happens. It's the NFL. The slogan rings true. Like any given Sunday, anything can happen. You don't know, or any given Monday, or any given Thursday, or any given Saturday, whatever day they happen to be playing on. So, again, I'm not like certain fan bases who think they're going to win every game they play. You look at it,
No.
And especially with their schedule coming up, which, again, like we said, is not easy. They have Baltimore coming up on Monday night, which they just got their first win, so they're going to be, chomping at the bit to get back to 500, which obviously we all kind of figured that they would be either that or above 500 at this point. We all had them doing really well, so again, we'll see. I like what I've seen so far. I'll leave it at that. I like what I've seen so far, and hopefully they can they can continue on that path. And like we in the group text yesterday, and I don't know if you saw any of these, but Josh Allen, he's playing like an MVP. He's playing like a dude on a mission this year.
Yes.
Like he heard all the critics in the offseason. He's playing like he heard all those critics say he's overrated, this, that, and the other thing. He turns the ball over too much, etc. And he's like, all right, fine. That's the way you want to do it? Okay. We'll see.
Yep. That was a clear ass whooping last night.
It was.
I do want to touch on something. So, Mr. Long says, hello from Sarasota, Florida. Hurricane is on its way.
Oh, good.
I'm so happy to see the Tigers rolling. Are they able to take it to the next level? And before we get too far into football, I did kind of want to talk about the Tigers, and I'm actually glad that, Mr. Long, I appreciate you joining in again. Thank you. And hopefully everybody stays safe down there with that hurricane rolling in.
No doubt.
But this is one of the most intriguing streaks of a second half of a season I've ever seen from any team.
Yeah.
Let alone the Tigers. It's incredible.
It really is.
And right now they are sitting in a wild card spot. They're not even in the last wild card spot. Nope. They've made it up into the second wild card spot.
They're a game and a half up.
And if you'd have told me that at the break, I'd have told you there's no fucking way.
Anybody that says they would have, you're lying.
Is just a homer fan that was like, oh, I have endless optimism.
No, stop it.
Nobody with real knowledge of baseball on this team would have said they're going to make it into the playoffs at the All-Star break.
Like this thing,
not a chance.
This thing kind of started as, okay, the kids are showing some fight. I dig that. All right, cool. Like maybe they finish a few games under 500. Fine. But there's progress. We see it. That's awesome. I'm very excited about that. I'm happy about that. But to take it to the point where they're at now, would it be somewhat disappointing if they didn't get in?
Now, yes.
Yeah, I think it would be a little bit disappointing. However, that being said, you still got to look at it and be like, okay, I'm proud of this team.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of this team. Like, this team from basically the second half on has been, I believe they've been the best team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their pitching has been the best in the American League. So to see where they were in, I believe it was August 10th, they were, I believe, 8 games under 500.
Mm-hmm.
And now they are, 12 games over? I believe 11 or 12 games over.
Well, they're 83 and 74.
Okay.
So it's
all right. Yeah. So, but they're basically they're guaranteed a winning record this year, which
yes.
they haven't had since 2014.
Yes, because their schedule coming up is today they won 2-1.
Yes.
They have Tampa tomorrow again. So they beat Tampa today 2-1. They have Tampa tomorrow and Thursday.
Yep.
And then
the White Sox.
They have the White Sox, which, okay, the White Sox are the worst team in the American League
ever. Seriously.
No, I love how
ever.
I do love how you put ever because they are record bad.
Yes. Those are facts. Ever.
Yes, ever. They're 36 and 120 right now. So they're awful.
You know how it would be just to see it, like, of course they come in here for the last 3 games.
Of course.
And they play like the best baseball they've played the entire season. You know?
But I will say, if you're a Tigers fan right now, it looks optimistic. They have Tampa Bay the next 2 days, which Tampa Bay is not bad. They're 78 and 79.
Yep.
But
and they have
the
really
Tigers
good
have what's that?
And they have really good pitching.
Yes. But the Tigers seem to have a little bit of an advantage there, and they have a major advantage against the White Sox.
Yep.
The Tigers are in the second wild card spot right now. They're half a game up on Kansas City, and they are 1.5 games up on Minnesota.
Yeah.
So listen, guys, this is looking
This can happen.
realistic. They, like 2 weeks ago, they had a 9% chance of making the playoffs. 9
times.
9 times. Ferris Bueller's Day Off reference there. 9.
9 times.
But right now, I would be interested to see what their percentage is now, and I haven't seen it, but it's a very good chance right now they're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's been an awesome run for them, and I'm really glad it happened with everybody being able to witness it and see it because they're back on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's again, it's just been kind of remarkable what they've been able to do. Like I said, they finish up with the White Sox, which, okay. And then today, Skubal goes out and does what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that dude doesn't win the Cy Young,
God, man, seriously.
then the award is irrelevant. I'm sorry, it's irrelevant. And stop with the closer from Cleveland. Stop.
He pitched.
Stop.
Yeah. No.
That dude, no.
Well, seriously, okay, the run this team went on. Is there any way right now he doesn't win the Cy Young? I don't think there's any fucking way.
I don't see how you can like legitimately vote for him to not win it.
I don't either. I don't either.
To me, it's a joke of a vote. Like, I don't get it. Now, obviously, he's not going to win it unanimously.
No.
But to say that a closer is better suited to win the Cy Young award than a starting pitcher, to me, is asinine. It just is. It's asinine. Unless you get just kind of like run-of-the-mill pitchers who nobody had like a breakout year or standout year, and a closer did. Like, don't get me wrong, their closer, he's actually had a really good year, like a really good year.
Yeah.
But when you put it up against what Tarek Skubal's done the entire season as a starting pitcher, to me, it's no comparison.
No. Listen, he's out of his 30 games started, he's 17-4. He leads the league in ERA at 2.48. He's second in WHIP at .94. And his batting average against is .205. It's a 205.
Yep.
Which is it's fifth, I believe.
Yep.
And the Tigers are making this run with basically he's the guy that's leading this run for the pitching staff, which the pitching staff has been one of the best in baseball since the break. They were even pretty good before that, but they traded away Flaherty.
Yeah. Which
and still it worked out for him. The pitching staff has still been great, and Skubal's been leading that staff to this remarkable recovery to make it into the playoffs.
It's kind of like when JV came out in 06 to that, but I think it's better than what JV did.
I think it's better actually. This is incredible.
Yeah. But looking at what because we said the Tigers finish up with 2 more against the Rays, and then they got 3 against the White Sox. Mm-hmm. The Royals finish up with the Braves, who may or may not be out of playoff contention by then. I don't know yet. They're still somewhat in it, so those games might actually mean something for the Braves. And the Twins finish up with the Orioles, which, again, they may or may not.
They may or may not have it locked up.
Yes. So, it's going to come down to basically the final series.
It will
for all 3 of these teams.
It absolutely will. And I'll tell you this: I think the Tigers need to take one of these next 2 against Tampa.
Yep.
Win that series,
yep.
And they have to take 2 against Chicago, in my opinion.
I think you have to sweep Chicago. I'm sorry, you have to sweep that team.
Well, okay, so it's a bad team, but I'm saying to realistically make it your shot to get in.
Yeah.
You hold a game and a half over Minnesota right now.
Yep.
And you're half game above Kansas City, but even if Kansas City overtakes you, you're still a wild card in the playoffs, right? You have to hold off Minnesota. I believe you take one of these next 2 against Tampa, and you take 2 against Chicago, and I believe you're in.
I'm good with
realistically,
that.
Right?
I'm
I mean,
good with that, yeah.
I don't think I'm wrong on that one.
No, I can't necessarily say that you are. But yeah, that's what I like about it is people are like, oh, what about if the Twins win, and what about who cares?
The Tigers need to handle. The Tigers need to handle their own business.
Who cares what anybody does behind you?
Yep.
Just handle your business, and you're in. It's simple as that.
You know what's funny is that's society these days too, because people are so worried about what other people are doing.
I don't care.
Worry about your own fucking lane.
Exactly. You handle your business,
As long as you're handling your business, you're good.
Yes. Don't worry about what other teams are doing behind you.
Right.
Now, like teams ahead of you, yeah, all right. I can understand that.
But you still can only handle your business.
Right. But you also have to kind of see like what they're doing in front of you to kind of see what pace you need to keep track of. You know what I'm saying?
In a way,
I know you don't want to say, well, they lost, so it doesn't matter if we lose, or if they won, so we have to win, etc. I get that, but it's different when somebody's behind you. You shouldn't even be looking at it. Period.
Just handle your business.
Handle your business, and you're good. So we'll see how that plays out, and hopefully they can somewhat improbably get into the playoffs, which would be
one of the most
amazing.
Remarkable runs I've ever seen.
Like you saw the stands kind of they weren't packed today because the game got moved from 7 to 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as filled as I think it would be if the game was at 7 o'clock. But that place better be packed tomorrow. That place better be packed Thursday. I'm going Saturday, so
nice.
I'm hoping that place is rowdy, loud. Let's go. Playoff atmosphere. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So let's go, man.
Let's do it. You're going Saturday?
Yeah.
You and lady friend?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
What time is that game Saturday?
1:10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Making a day out of it. We're going down there to watch Arsenal Leicester at 10 and then heading over to the Tiger game at 1. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, should be a fun day. Looking forward to it. Yeah. Anyways.
Sweet.
Let's get into some NFL talk. And we already talked about the Bills laying a beat down on the Jaguars last night.
Yes.
I still want to kind of talk about that game. Dude, is Trevor Lawrence washed? Is he done?
So I think this goes with some quarterback talk, right? And I think there's a lot to talk about. We got some quarterback talk to talk about this week.
Yes,
with
we do.
Andy Dalton stepping in and the red rocket, the red rifle, who comes in and basically makes it look like Bryce Young just was not getting it.
Has no idea what the hell he's doing.
Can't read a defense.
Nope.
Can't run an offense. But I also think it goes to – I think there's a lot of things that have to – there's a couple things that point to coaching as being part of it too and being set up to succeed, right? Now, Andy Dalton is no slouch. The guy led Cincinnati for many years. There's a reason nobody unseated him at quarterback there. He was a good quarterback in the NFL. And he's a veteran that knows how to play the game and can play the game well, right?
Right.
So he can overcome some things that Bryce Young can't. And to be honest with you, I'm not sticking up for Bryce Young. He probably is just as bad as we think he is. But in that situation, like, you can overcome that a little bit. But if you look at Sam Darnold, if you look at Geno Smith, those two quarterbacks, funny enough, were drafted by the same fucking team.
Yes, they were.
Everyone thought they sucked. They couldn't play football. All of a sudden, now these two guys, and Geno Smith for a few years now.
Yeah.
And it's not delivery, it's the Geno. And
still
Sam Darnold.
I'm still mad we didn't capitalize on that.
And Sam Darnold, Mr. I'm seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
Are now a couple of the best quarterbacks in the league. They're in the top half.
Yes.
So a lot goes to coaching too, and the way these coaches set up their quarterbacks to play, so the way they set them up to succeed, the game plan that they come up with, the schemes that they come up with. There is a lot to that, right? Guys can look really bad with bad coaching and look pretty damn good with good coaching and good schemes. It can happen. I will say that it's I am not a fan of Doug Peterson, right?
No, definitely not.
And this just goes to what I was saying he stumbled into a Super Bowl as opposed to maneuvered it and got them there.
Okay.
I just don't think he's a good coach, and I think he's failing at it again. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is – I think he's at fault. But I can tell you, I think that whole organization has some pretty big faults right now, and it starts at the top.
Like ownership at the top?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then right down to head coach, and then plan, scheme. The quarterback he's just not making the right decisions. He's not making the right reads. He just does not look good. He looked better in his second year than he has in 3 and 4. It just doesn't look good.
It's just weird how you fall off like that.
But his rookie season wasn't great, and we chalked it up to Urban Meyer, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, his second season was decent, and everyone's like, all of us, we're like, okay, he took a step.
Yep.
Maybe he'll take a step next year, and he has backwards,
which is amazing.
It's insane to me. It's not, though, because, again, I attribute a lot of it to coaching and scheme and being set up to succeed. I don't necessarily think he's as bad as he looks right now, but we talked about it when he came out. None of us thought he was going to be the next coming of Jesus Christ in the NFL either.
We definitely
he wasn't that guy, and all of us stated that, including Frank, who just jumped in and said he's a bum.
He's not for real?
I think he's – is he for real, though? Are the Jags for real? I think they're for real, really, really bad for real.
Yes.
They're not even for real adjacent anymore. They're
for real fraudulent.
Yeah. But, again, I think there's a lot to be said about a coaching staff, and it starts with the head coach. And I think there's a lot to be said about how you can set your players up to succeed and how you can set them up to fail. And that happens a lot.
Now I look at that, and going back to Bryce Young, I just don't think he's good. I don't.
No, I agree with that too.
I don't really think it matters what quarterback or what quarterback coach he has, what head coach he has. I don't think it matters.
I would agree with that too.
I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I just don't.
I'm not saying he is.
I don't see it.
I'm just giving examples of guys that we thought didn't have it.
Right. No, I agree with you.
That now all of a sudden we're like, wait a second. Right. Are these guys actually kind of good?
I look at Bryce Young, I'm just like that dude doesn't have it.
4 years ago, you didn't even remember Geno Smith was in the fucking league.
I did not. I really didn't.
And now all of a sudden we're like, hey, he's actually good.
He's actually good.
And Sam Darnold, Captain Seeing Ghosts.
Yes. Not bad.
We're questioning. We're like, is he good? He looks good. Again, there's a lot of things where they're set up to succeed in these scenarios, and there's a lot of times where they're set up to fail.
Right. Now, going from we think are good quarterbacks to one that's bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, Joe. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about your Brownies, dude.
Yeah. So I got a couple of text messages on Sunday from a couple of friends. They're actually my daughter's friends' parents. And they were kind of poking at me a little bit. The only problem with that is I don't think I gave them the reaction they wanted.
No,
because
you don't check your shit on Sundays.
Not really, but I did. I mean, I did talk back to them a couple times, and then that was it. But I don't usually text a lot on Sunday. I'm busy watching football and or playing with my daughter or whatever. But absorbed in football. But yes, it was, boy, it doesn't look like Deshaun Watson got his happy ending today before he played.
Right.
He did. He sucks. And the thing is, I know you guys are kind of, and I read some of the group texts. You guys are wanting me to explode. I can't explode on this team anymore. I just can't. I've said with him at quarterback, they're not going to win. I've said he sucks. I've said they should have never made that trade. I said it the day I said it the first 5 minutes after it happened. When I saw it that it happened, I texted you guys. It's the worst thing ever. It was the worst move they could have made. I've said it all along. Funny enough, it keeps being proven true.
And you got ripped for that too. Not by us.
Oh, I got ripped. I got ripped profusely for it because I was racist.
Yep.
Because I just like Baker Mayfield because he was white and I don't like Deshaun because he's black.
You're a hater.
Or I'm a hater and I was believing all these women that came forward and I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And I'm racist because I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'll be honest with you. His court cases aside, I said it was a bad move football-wise. I'm not even going to talk about the court cases and what I think he did and did not do. Football-wise, I didn't like the move. It was a bad move. You're paying this guy too much money when you could have paid the guy that was already on your team less money, but you didn't want to
fully guaranteed money.
But you didn't want to pay him that much money. So instead you went out and got a quarterback who hadn't played in over a year, and by the time he played, it was a year and a half, and gave him more money than you could have gave the other guy, and you guaranteed it all. So there's really nothing else I can say about this. This is a good team in a lot of areas. The one place they're not is at quarterback, where you spent the most fucking money. Period. They're not going to amount to shit as long as he's the quarterback.
I think even your defense looks like it's taken a step back this year a little bit.
It has. It has. I think it'll right itself. I again, there's seasons within a season. I think Jim Schwartz will right that ship. Myles Garrett's banged up. He's been hurt. When you take him and you put him at 50% or whatever percent he is of himself, it's going to take something away from the defense. He puts pressure on. Then your backfield actually gets plays on footballs because he's making pressure. So there's some things there that can work its way out. And I have faith it will. Because I think Jim Schwartz is a very good defensive coordinator.
He is. Now, do you think this is maybe the defense kind of saying, all right, as long as this dude is our fucking quarterback, fuck it?
No, I think a lot of it is he doesn't sustain drives long enough for them to get a rest.
Okay. So he puts them in bad position.
They're gassed.
So he puts them in bad position.
Yes, they're gassed. He turns the ball over, puts them in bad spots.
Right.
He doesn't sustain drives and puts them in bad spots because they're gassed. They're on the field too much. And they're constantly playing from behind. So they have to keep trying to pressure to get a turnover, to set them up, to set the offense up in a good position, because they can't trust them to drive down the fucking field and score a touchdown.
Right. No, it's I don't know. I just wonder how much longer of a leash he has. You know, until
I told you, Jameis Winston is going to start before halfway through the season. I already told you that.
I mean, if it keeps trending in this direction, how can he not? You know, you can't just keep kicking it down the road with a guy who clearly he's not even remotely, he's not even a show what he used to be.
They've scored 17 points against Dallas, 18 points against Jacksonville, and 15 points against the Giants.
Wow.
17, 18, and 15.
And two of those games were at home.
Yes. The Dallas game was at home, and they got curb stomped.
Yeah,
they got curb stomped.
Yeah, they did.
Now, Jacksonville, they won. It was an ugly game. And they lost to the Giants, who are arguably one of the two worst teams in the league.
Oh, that's for sure. Now, you speak of the Cowboys.
We'll get to the other worst team that lost. Oh, that beat Frank's team.
Yes.
Later on.
Moving on to the Cowboys. Like, again, another asking, and the score made that game seem much closer than it was. Baltimore went down to Dallas and whooped that ass. They just did.
They mollywopped them, but then again, they do what Baltimore does, and they let up a bunch of points at the end, and almost ended up giving it away.
If they do that,
which is their fucking MO, man. How do they keep doing that?
If they do that shit on Monday night against Buffalo, they're gonna fucking lose. But yeah, again, another team walks into Dallas and just bitch slaps them all over the place.
Yep.
You know, and I still can't believe Mike McCarthy has a job. I'm honestly, I'm fucking amazed by it.
But I also need to say this: Stephen A. Smith is a fucking dumbass.
Well, yes.
Did you hear what this fucking guy comes out and says? And you would think a guy who's been in the media this long would know not to say this, but he came out and said about Dallas, they need to go get Bill Belichick now. Okay, Chris, do you want to tell me the problem with that one?
I mean, there's a lot of problems with that one.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick, you think he's going anywhere out of retirement where he doesn't have full 100% fucking control? And do you think Jerry Jones is going to be the guy to give him that?
Nope.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
I mean, he did do it with Parcells.
Okay, but he's not doing it now. He's too arrogant. There's no fucking way. And Frank says Jerry Jones. Laugh out loud.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. There's no way Jerry Jones would give that up.
No, not at this point, no.
He's not. There's no way. So the Dallas Cowboys need to go out and get Bill Belichick.
That's great in theory.
Okay. Yeah, but there's no fucking way that happens, guy. So there's no point in even saying it. You're a dumbass.
Yeah, in theory, yeah, they should go out and get him.
But
in
they
reality?
won't because in reality, yes, but it's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
He's never relinquishing control. He actually came out and said the only people that think we need a better run stopping, we need to be better at run stopping and a better run game are the media. Those are the only people asking the questions. Well, first of all, what fans are asking you questions, you dumb fuck?
Yeah, right.
It's just the media asking you questions. Do you have an open session for fans to ask you questions? Do you have an open session for just the general fucking public?
I think coaches should, honestly.
It's the media.
I wish coaches and owners should.
I wish. It'd be fucking
be
great. I would show up to those motherfuckers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But they don't.
Right.
So the media is the only people that can ask you questions, you stupid fuck. So, of course, they're asking you about a better run game and your defense being better at stopping the run. And the only people who can't see that you need to be better at both those things is you, because you're too arrogant to think that you failed at something, which was you brought back Zeke Elliott, who is 72 years old with a fucking walker and tennis balls on it, running the football for you as your starting running back.
I'd give him at least a hover round. Yeah, it would be nice if fans could go up to these owners and coaches and talk to them. I mean, you could be like Lions fan and just go to Dan Campbell's house and make a move because you guys are fucking assholes.
That's funny.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Frank, was that you? Did you go to Dan Campbell's house?
I heard this, and when I first read this, I thought it was fake, and then I read more into it. I'm like, you got to be. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I can totally fucking see that. 100%, I can totally fucking see that. Fucking just idiot fans. I'm sorry. Don't fucking do that.
Well, and you see it all the time. It's not just Lions fans.
No,
I don't want to hate on them, but you see fans of college schools and football teams at colleges. They're messaging the fucking kicker if they miss a kick and tell them they should die.
Don't do that.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
It's just a game, guys.
It really, chill the fuck out.
It's just a game. It's not that important. It really isn't. If you feel it necessary to go on social media and rip a kid, rip a player, or use racial slurs or anything like that,
or show up at a coach's house.
Show up at a coach's house because they did something you didn't like. Really? You're a fucking loser. I'm sorry, you're a loser.
Yeah.
It's simple as that.
Nope, I agree. You know who's not a loser, though?
No, who's that?
Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank. He's a winner.
Correct. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, moving on from the Giants-Browns debacle. Vikings. Are they for real?
Yes.
I think that defense is really fucking good.
That defense is really good.
Can Darnold keep it up?
They're playing incredible. I think he can. Okay. I haven't seen anything in the first couple games. Now, he did get hurt. He came back in. I give him credit. He came back in, but he did get hurt. He is listed as questionable right now. They're going to see how he plays throughout the week and how he responds to treatment. But, no, man. I from what I've seen from him, it looks like it's sustainable.
Right.
And like I said, I've said it before, there are football seasons within a football season, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's basically multiple seasons in there.
It's basically every season is 3 games, right? 4 games?
Before, I'd say a 3 or 4 game stretch is one, things can change.
Seasons.
Yeah, things can change drastically, right? You know what I mean? Especially people overreact to the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks of an NFL season are so volatile. For the past, I'd say 5 to 10 years.
It's basically preseason.
Right, and it's the first 2 weeks are really volatile, and you'll see some weird shit happen in the first couple weeks of a season. I think once you get to week 4, you see the first 4 weeks. You kind of take the first 2 weeks with a grain of salt, and then the next season starts, which is the next 4 games basically.
Right.
And there are ups and downs in an NFL season for every team. Every team goes through a lull. Every team goes through a little bit of a losing streak, whether it's 2 games or 3. I mean, it happens.
Yes.
So, It happens to the best of them. It happened to San Francisco last year when they had some injuries. They made it to the Super Bowl. It happened to Kansas City a couple years ago. I think they won the Super Bowl that year. I mean, it happens to the best teams.
Shit, even last year the Chiefs weren't that good during the regular season.
Right. And they had some but it does. It goes up and down. So I mean, there's definitely there's highs and lows of a football season. There's multiple seasons within a season. And from week to week, things don't translate the way you think they will. You think there's a trend going. The next week in football will show you were wrong, that you thought that was a fucking trend. That's the way it works.
All right, so moving on from a team that we think is for real, the Vikings, and I think they are for real simply because of their defense. I think their defense is really good.
I agree with that. Yeah, the defense is good.
The defense can carry them to a team that...
But they're also scoring a bunch of points, too, though.
They are.
Which is impressive.
Yes, because their defense is putting them in good positions to
right,
do so.
Exactly.
To a team that I'm starting to think maybe is not for real in the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
They are not.
Ooh.
Now, Joe Burrow ended up looking decent when he had to throw the football a lot at the end of the game there. Threw for 3 touchdowns. But, man, that team is broken.
Like, I don't know what the issue is. I really don't.
That team.
Their defense
broken.
is not very good right now.
Nope.
Which was very surprising. I thought their defense would be at least
above
average.
The offense wasn't very good until they had to basically throw to try to catch
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And they had no choice. But no, they're broken.
I mean, they scored on every possession they had last night.
Washington?
No.
Oh.
The Bengals.
Really?
Yes. The problem was they couldn't stop Washington.
Let me see here.
By quarter, you got Bengals had 7, 6, 7, and 13 in the fourth.
Yeah.
But when the Commanders have 7, 14, 7, and 10,
yeah,
that's a problem. But I'm looking at the Bengals. I'm trying to pinpoint what is actually wrong with that team. And obviously, the first game of the season, I'm sorry, you shouldn't lose to the Patriots at home in the first game of the season. Second one, I mean, you went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, which you always do because you play them tough every time you play them. And you lost on a pass interference call. It was pass interference, everybody. It really was. But that was one of the bigger plays of the game that kind of decided it. But this one, you went up against a rookie quarterback in your house, and he torched you. Jaden Daniels looked outstanding last night.
Yeah, he did. Well, and if you look at the time of possession, their time of possession was almost 7 minutes more than Cincinnati's. I mean, they controlled the football last night.
Yeah.
They absolutely controlled the football. Yeah, Washington looked good, Jaden Daniels looked good, and Cincinnati just looks broken.
They do, and it's I can't pinpoint what it is. Other than the only thing I can really throw it on is their defense. Their defense has just not looked good at all. And again, credit to Jaden Daniels. We thought coming out of the draft that he was going to be the guy.
He showed last night that he took a big step forward last night.
He did. That pass he threw to McLaurin, that last touchdown pass.
There was a couple of passes that he hit last night that he had about a window of the exact size of the football to put that football in, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really impressed last night with watching him. Even me, who I think he was the best quarterback coming out. I thought he was going to be really good. I actually put him to win the Rookie of the Year award. Mm-hmm. But even I, watching that game last night, was impressed with some of the things he did, some of the decisions he was making. That option on the goal line, where he kept it and just literally
walked in.
He could have crawled into the end zone. It was that easy for him.
Oh, he looked good. Like we said, we thought he was going to be the best quarterback coming out of the draft, and so far, I think it's easy to say that he has been.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go to the Colts-Bears game, and you look at Caleb Williams. 33 for 52, 363, 2 touchdowns. Okay.
Yep, still an 80.8 passer rating though. He threw 2 interceptions.
Yep.
But if you throw the ball 52 times, you better have 300 some yards.
I would hope so.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you should absolutely have that many yards, honestly.
And
but
can we talk about the other quarterback on the other side?
Oh, we certainly can.
Because there's something that needs to be fixed there drastically. And if they don't right that ship pretty soon, that's going to be a problem. And the fact that they're not calling, they need to do what they did last year. I think they overcorrected after last year of they don't want him to get hurt like he got hurt last year, so they're just not really calling designed run plays for him.
So they're making him a pocket passer.
They're trying to do what they did to Justin Fields in Chicago.
Ding.
And it's not working.
No, it's not. Because that's not what these guys are.
That's not what he is. Listen, he is very accurate at throwing the deep ball, but he's also accurate when you get him out of the pocket and roll him out. Yes. You can't just always have him standing back there. You have to. There's a reason why running quarterbacks wreak havoc on NFL defenses and on defenses in general. It's because they're a dual threat. You never know what they're going to do. Are they going to run the ball? Are they going to throw the ball? Are they going to bootleg out and throw the ball? What is with an option? Are they going to hand it off? Are they going to take it around the end and run? There's things that they're not calling plays for him like they should be right now.
Nope.
And there's
again, this is Justin Fields all over again.
It's broken.
Yeah.
And they need to fix it soon.
Yep.
Absolutely. Because I look at him and I see a limited window and I see, okay, has he sucked a little bit? Yeah, let's look bad some bit. But I don't believe he sucks as a player. I think this is one of those scenarios, same with Justin Fields in Chicago, where they're not setting him up to succeed. They're actually setting him up to fail. They're basically rigging the game against him so he doesn't look good. Not on purpose, just because they're stupid. Why are you changing it just because he got hurt last year running the football in the end zone? He's a running quarterback. If you didn't want your quarterback to take a risk of getting hurt while they run,
why did you draft
don't draft a running quarterback.
Right, exactly.
If you're going to draft a running quarterback, utilize their skill set of being a running quarterback.
Now we move on. We go from him to the guy we are comparing him to, and Justin Fields in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Now, are they for real? They're 3-0.
That defense is really fucking good.
That defense is really fucking good.
It's another one where they are for real because that defense is really good.
But you look at Fields, and again, he didn't have to be spectacular. He's not going to be spectacular, guys. He's just not. He's going to be good. He's going to be solid to good.
Yeah. Well, okay. So if he had the receivers that Caleb Williams has now,
oh yeah,
I'm telling you, he'd be much better.
And they're actually using him properly,
right?
And letting him
run, letting him bootleg, letting him get out of the pocket, designing run plays. So, but Justin Fields, his numbers, looking at his numbers, he's doing what he's doing. He's staying within that box of what he has to do in order to not lose the game for them. Period. He's basically being a game manager of sorts, and he's doing it well.
Which is fine. That's all you need to be.
That's it.
Just don't make mistakes.
That's it. I mean, he did throw an interception, but again, a 96 rating, 25 of 32. So he only blanked on 7 passes out of 32, 245 yards, a touchdown, and 1 pick. But again, he didn't lose the game for them. Their defense is good enough.
Yep.
He goes out there and does what he needs to do, makes a couple of big splash plays, either with his legs or with his arm, and they're winning. And that's all they need.
That's all you need. You just let him do his thing. Don't try to force him into a box that he's not. It's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't work. These coaches, and you see it all over the NFL all the time. These coaches way overthink shit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm the smartest dude in the room. I can get this guy to play the system that I want him to play in. Blah blah blah, etc. That's not what good coaches do.
Nope.
Good coaches adapt their game plan to the talent that they have.
Yep.
And you see it all the time. These idiot coaches, they don't do that, and they wonder why they get fired all the time. Because you try to be the smartest dude in the room, and you don't adapt.
Yep.
And you end up failing. That's what it is. It's sad. But Mike Tomlin's been in the game for so long. And this is why he's a successful coach, because he adapts to the talent that he has. You maybe say he's a mid coach because he goes 500 every year, or like a slightly above 500 every year. But he doesn't have losing seasons. There's a reason for that. Because he adapts to the talent that he has.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think the Steelers with that defense, I think they're a dark horse to win that division. They really are.
No, at this point they definitely are because I don't think Cleveland's a contender. Baltimore is 1-2.
We're gonna find out a lot about Baltimore Monday night.
Yeah,
like we're gonna find out a lot about. We're gonna find a lot about the Bills on Monday night too. But
I think we'll find out about both those teams on Monday night.
Yeah.
At least a little something. But I think the biggest team that has something to prove in that game is Baltimore.
Yeah.
Buffalo, they need to just continue what they're doing, but Baltimore needs to write something in that in their game planning and the way they come at a game. Because if they do what they usually do and what they did to Dallas and take their foot off the gas at the end of the third quarter, Buffalo will curb stomp them in the fourth quarter and win that game.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to carve them up if that happens. But moving on to the Broncos and Buccaneers, oof, that's a bad look for the Bucs.
Yeah, and there was a couple of those games this weekend. I mean, definitely a lot of survivor pools got ended this week.
Is anybody in any survivor pool anymore? Is anybody still alive?
There's some people,
really?
But listen, very few. So
that's amazing.
4 teams took out a bunch of people this week. Tampa Bay took out a bunch of
Yes.
people. Cincinnati took out a bunch of people.
Yes.
Cleveland took out a bunch of people. The Raiders took out a bunch of people. I mean, there was a lot of people that lost in Survivor this week.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix, credit to Bo Nix. He went down there. I thought he played pretty well.
He did
Not
play
great
well
by any means, but he played pretty well.
The biggest thing in that game was Denver's defense showed up.
Yep.
And I don't think Tampa came in fully prepared on offense. They just weren't prepared for how good Denver's defense looked. Tampa Bay is, if their offense showed up and they took them seriously, they could compete in that game. But it's just like they didn't show up, and Denver's defense was like, you feel like you're just going to come in here and coast? Fuck you. And they hit him in the mouth.
They did.
Several times.
Several times. Another one. Are the Dolphins done?
Without Tua, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
See, but to me, if you look at this to me shows you Tua is more important to that team than what people think.
Which is amazing because he's not very good.
He's good enough.
Right?
He's good enough. You see what that team does and what those players do without him in there, as opposed to when he is in there.
Yeah.
What Tua does that he does well is he makes decisions well. He decides where he's going with the football well, and he's got a good enough arm to get there. Now, everybody says he's got a weak arm, he can't throw it down the field. Well, Tyreek Hill hasn't had a problem while he's been in there, and Tyreek Hill gets deep a lot. So,
well, yeah, he's got 12, he's got like 12 kids. Sorry, buddy.
That was great. That was a good one. Props to that one. That was a good joke. He gets deep a lot. But yeah, so this to me proves that Tua is more important to that team than what people think, and he's actually better than what people think. And by all accounts, Tua says he will be back as soon as he's cleared. So I won't say they're done, but they're gonna have to utilize the run game and the screen game a little bit more while Skylar Thompson's in there.
He's hurt.
Well, okay, then while Boyle's in there. But until Tua gets back, they're gonna have to use that run game and that screen game and the short dump off routes to the running backs way more than they are right now in order to maintain some time of possession and move the football. They can't. They're not going to do that if they don't change the way.
I'm looking at their upcoming schedule, the next, we'll say 4 games. I got the Titans, Patriots, Colts, and Cardinals coming up. Now, I think at least 2 of those games are winnable.
Titans,
Probably 3.
Titans, Patriots, Colts, and who else?
Cardinals.
Okay, I think I would say the Cardinals beat them. I think everybody can beat them. But,
right. But I'm talking about until Tua can possibly come back.
Yeah. So I think I mean those are winnable games. Those are not world beater teams. No. You can beat them as long as you don't put the game on your quarterback because listen, it's a backup quarterback, and if it's Boyle, we know that one around here. Mm-hmm. And even if it's Skylar Thompson, there's you have to do something different than what you're doing with Tua. Nobody's going to distribute the ball like he did to your star wide receivers. And if you're talking about, if I'm going to talk to the fantasy football world out there, do what I did this week. You can't bench Tyreek Hill. I didn't play Jalen Waddle in either leagues I have him in. I sat him. There's no fucking way I'm playing him with Skylar Thompson in there.
No, as you should.
Hopefully you have better options, because if you don't, it's gonna be ugly until Tua comes back. It's gonna be really fucking ugly.
Another thing that's ugly, which I thought this game was going to be a lot better than it ended up being, but the Eagles and Saints.
Ooh, that was...
Yeah. I don't know what to think about either of these teams after that game. I really don't.
That was a disgusting game.
It really was a disgusting game. I mean, shit, the Eagles didn't score until the fourth quarter.
It was ugly.
It was ugly, but again, I don't know what to think about either of these teams. Like, are the Saints good? I don't know.
I mean, they didn't really look at this game.
Are the Eagles good? Are they bad? I don't know.
Well, based on this game, I would say both teams are bad. But again, now both teams are 2-1.
Yep.
And both teams had played well until this game.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I really don't have an answer on these two teams yet.
I don't either. But I keep hearing that Nick Sirianni is going to get fired. Even if they win, they keep hearing he's going to get fired. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with either of those teams.
I don't know.
I got nothing.
Derek Carr became Derek Carr again.
Derek Carr, of course. That pick he threw was like, oh, there's the Derek Carr we all know and love.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Look who showed up.
Moving on to the 49ers-Rams game. That's a bad loss for San Francisco. That was a bad loss.
Yes, it was.
You had that game. You had it.
You
had it in control.
Yes, you did. That was a game that they should not have lost. And they just let the Rams do whatever they wanted to, basically, in the second half of that game.
I think this is another case of, again, we talk about coaches who always try to be the smartest dude in the room.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
He's that guy. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yep. I mean, that you were in a spot where you could have kept running the ball a little bit more, taking more time of possession. You were winning that game, and Brock Purdy played well. 22 of 30, 292, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jordan Mason had 19 carries. The running back on the winning team had 24 carries.
Yep.
Who came from behind to beat you. So, like, if you run the football a little bit more with Mason, who, by all accounts, at this point in time is a decent running back, he showed he can fill the shoes of CMC. Not completely.
No.
But in the run game, not in the receiving game out of the backfield, but in the run game, he's proven he can run the ball well.
Which is a good thing, because honestly, at this point, who the hell knows when CMC's coming back?
I'm not sure he's going to play it all this year.
It's trending in that direction. The more you hear about it,
well, he's
over in freaking Germany.
He's going to Germany to see a specialist right now.
That's not ideal.
No, not at all.
That is not ideal. However, what you were just saying, you have a guy who can pick up at least the majority of the slack.
Jordan Mason should have at least seen as many carries as Kyren Williams saw in 24, and he saw 19.
Right.
You should have at least run the ball with him 5 or 6 more times, and I'm talking maybe even more than that. Grind the clock on them.
Yep.
You are winning. What are you doing?
Again, trying to be
and then the defense just gave up too. I just don't understand that. The Niners defense, it supposedly is better than that.
That's what I was told.
Supposedly.
But
you know who is better than that? You know what team is better than that?
Yes, that would be the Joe Wright Group. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs. Yeah. Yeah, go back to Cincinnati. Frank was talking about how Joe Burrow doesn't have the time he had before. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got a point there.
I feel like that offensive line has always sucked since Joe Burrow's been
there. It has. That's the thing. Because I feel like every year in the draft, there's like draft an offensive lineman, draft an offensive lineman, draft an offensive lineman. Keep your quarterback upright. And they never fucking do it. But anyways.
Yeah.
Moving on. Lions Cardinals. I thought it was a solid road win for the Lions. I thought they went down there, took care of business. Cool. You're better than them. Go down there and beat them, and you did.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is it looked like it was going to be a totally different game in the first quarter because the Lions drove down and scored, then the Cardinals drove down and scored,
yep.
And I thought it was going to be like a shootout at that point. I thought, oh man,
right,
this is about to be a track meet, right? They're gonna just it's gonna be back and forth. It's gonna be a shootout.
So, does the NFL have a vendetta against the Cardinals because they had a call go against them?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I just the Cardinals kind of just didn't show up after the first quarter.
They didn't,
and
I think that pick six though. That was, I'm not going to say that obviously lost the game or anything like that.
Right.
But that was somewhat of a turning point in that game, I think. It was a huge part of that game.
Yeah.
But
I will say that the Lions defense played well enough. They took Arizona out of their game, and their offense played well enough to win the game. Overall, I don't think there's much to take out of this game. I think Arizona's better than what they looked.
I thought it was a pretty pedestrian game.
It was from both teams, honestly. I don't think there's much to take out of the game, other than Detroit did what they had to do to win the game, and they won the game. And that's
the NFL.
That's all you got to do, man.
It's the NFL. It doesn't have to be flashy.
Yep.
They don't ask how, they ask how many. Going to the Chiefs-Falcons game, I'm looking at the Chiefs, and obviously we talked about them in the offseason, how they got all these weapons now and everything like that. And the more I watch them, the more I'm like, there's something just off with that offense. Their defense is still good, but the offense just looks out of sync.
Well, Travis Kelce looks pedestrian.
Very. Somebody ripped him today about being out of shape. And
that was Todd McShay.
Okay. I couldn't remember who it was.
Todd McShay said, and I have a problem with what he said too, though. Todd McShay said, are we basically, like, he ripped into the media pretty much. Not Travis Kelce. He ripped into the media for not calling out Travis Kelce for looking bad because he's been doing nothing but partying and not taking care of himself. And I have a problem with that because how do you know?
Exactly.
You don't know he's been partying. You don't know that's why he doesn't look good, right? You don't know he's been. Were you at the parties with him? Were you supposedly think he was at partying? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think maybe he goes to party? Yeah, he seems like a party guy. So does his brother for the most part. But how can you pinpoint that if you don't have any proof? You can't say, "Are we not going to call him out for partying too much?" And that's why he's not doing good right now.
Or it could be the fact that he's 34 fucking years old.
Thank you. It could be the fact that he's older.
Yeah.
It could be the fact that he's been beat up for so many years. Like, we don't know why he doesn't look good right now.
He's said as much on his podcast.
Like, I didn't like that one at all. I'm like, why would we say that? Why would anybody? Why would the media come out and say, "Oh, well, he doesn't look good because he's been partying"? You know why? Because nobody has proof he's been partying, and nobody has proof he doesn't look good because of the so-called party.
You got to figure he's 34 years old, and he's played, what is this 12 season? Do you know?
I think so.
I want to say
11th or 12th.
11th or 12th season, right? And then you add in all the playoff games that he's been a part of. So he's basically played an extra season too.
And he plays the tight end position, which blocks.
Yeah.
So he's got more wear and tear than a wide receiver would. I mean, it could just be age. It could be that he's been partying, but we don't know that.
We don't know that.
But I will tell you, he does look pedestrian right now.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest things with that. That's why they were okay with getting rid of Tyreek Hill, because they felt they could get another receiver, and Travis Kelce was a stud. Travis Kelce was the guy they wanted to keep, not Tyreek. They felt they could duplicate Tyreek's role, which in a way they have.
To a degree they have, yes.
Rashee Rice,
yep.
Xavier Worthy's stepped in a little bit. They've gotten receivers to step in. They've gotten fast guys to step in. Travis Kelce looks average this year, at best. At best. And that's part of it. And then, of course, you lose Isaiah Pacheco.
I think this is his 13th season. It says 12, so I don't know if that means this year's 12 or...
Well, it's probably this year's 12 then. But, also, you lost your lead running back, who was one of the better running backs in the league, who was good out of the backfield at receiving, and he was one of the best rushers in the league.
Right.
So I chalk it up to that they're having some problems there, but I'll be honest with you, I'm actually impressed with doing what they're doing with those problems. I really am.
Yeah.
Their offense doesn't look as potent, but when you actually look at what problems they're having, where their stud tight end, who they kept over their wide receiver, looks average at best. and they've got some young wide receivers, and they've got an injured running back who's one of the best in the league. I mean, they're winning games. It's 3-0. It's impressive.
I think that's more age than anything. I really do.
It could be, yes.
I mean, you even saw Gronk when he started to get up in that age. It was just like,
right, and
might be time to shut it down there, bud. And again, I've heard him on his
I was
podcast.
actually surprised he came back this year.
I was too. I really was, but I get it. You want to go for a three-peat. I understand why you did it. Be the first team to ever do it in the Super Bowl era. I get it. So now, if they don't do it this year and win that third Super Bowl in a row, I wouldn't be shocked to see him walk away.
No, I wouldn't either.
I know he signed a 2-year extension. I get it, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if he just said, "You know what, I'm done."
Nope, I agree.
And frankly, the way he's looked this year,
maybe he should.
Probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to do.
Yeah, so. And again, early in the season, we'll see. But so far through 3 games, he looks average at best.
At best. You know who else is above average, though?
Who?
Baldman Entertainment.
I know. Steve Waddell from Baldman Entertainment.
Yeah.
We all know planning events such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Baldman Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. He is the resident DJ for St. Hubert's Festival every year. They just had their festival. He did a great job. He DJ'd over 2 days, and it was an awesome party. I went up there for one of the days. He had the dance floor dancing. He had people grooving in the music band. It was awesome. So if you get a chance, check him out there, or check him out before then and book him for your event. That's Baldman Entertainment, 586-747-5402. It's the best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Nice.
Thank you.
Now, what wasn't a smooth event? I kind of wanted to save this game for last, just for Frank's benefit. The Raiders and the Panthers.
I thought the early card was bad enough watching the Browns lose to the Giants.
Yeah.
But to top it off with the Raiders losing to the Panthers.
And that is just losing. They got smacked.
They got smacked in the mouth by 80-year-old Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
And the Carolina Panthers, who couldn't muster much before this week.
No.
I know, obviously, Andy Dalton in there, even though he is 80. Was he 80, 81?
Roughly, yes, give or take.
Somewhere around there?
Yeah, in that range, yeah.
He obviously looked better than Bryce Young, who, by all accounts, is obviously younger than Andy Dalton. But, man, I don't know. This was a weekend of weird, bad teams winning games.
Yeah.
The Broncos punched Tampa Bay in the mouth. Carolina punched Vegas in the mouth. The Giants bitch slapped my Browns. Like it was a weekend of teams that shouldn't have been fucking kicked around by other teams, but did.
Right.
And even the Vikings and Houston. Houston got bitch slapped by them. And not that Minnesota's a bad team, but you expected Houston to put up more of a fight than that, and they didn't put up any fight.
You would think so.
But yeah, the Raiders, man, listen. If I'm not going to take anything away from the Browns losing to the Giants because it was fucking bad, I kind of am relieved that the Raiders lost to the Panthers, so it wasn't the only shit show of a game that we can talk about of one of our teams getting literally punched in the face by a team they shouldn't have.
And you had Antonio Pierce come out after the game and started calling out, not by name, but he said certain players were making business decisions.
No, yeah. You know he was talking about Davante Adams, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he was talking about
Davante Adams. In the
group
chat, I'm like, I wonder who he could be talking about.
Yeah, he was talking about Davante Adams.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
100%.
And he said, well, if they want to make business decisions, we'll make business decisions.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Frank says, I'm here, and he says they're the worst team in football. It's going to implode. It'll get ugly. I don't think they're the worst team in football. I think they just lost to the worst team in football.
Yes.
I'm not taking anything away from the Browns. They lost to the second worst team in football.
And this is a reason why you don't let players choose the next head coach.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It rarely, if ever, works.
No, and it's, listen. This could go one of two ways. So he called him out. And by all accounts, he's a player's coach.
Poo my parlay. Cincy
how? Las Vegas how? Yeah.
I hope you didn't lose a bunch of money on that one, Eric.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, I think a lot of people lost a bunch of money this weekend on a lot of games. But I can tell you I had a bad Sunday. I won a little bit on Thursday and then gave it all right back on Sunday because of how weird of a weekend it was. But we already talked about that, Eric. Shut the fuck up. Giants, what the fuck? Stop trying to kick a guy while he's down. I already went over it. Why are you an asshole? Yeah, no, it was those were 3 bad fucking games right there. Bad teams beating decent teams or at least better teams than them. Right. I mean, to me, those are the 3 worst teams in football: Denver, the Giants, and Carolina. And they bitch slapped the 3 teams they played.
Correct.
Literally.
Yes, literally. That happened.
So, yeah, I don't know, Frank. Do you have? Well, you just sent a blank message that I see. Oh, it was laughing faces. Yeah, it's man, that was just that Raiders defense could not stop anything.
No, they couldn't.
And I love how
again, he's a defensive guy.
Right, you're a defensive coach, and then after the game, you basically call out your star wide receiver for making business decisions. When first of all, okay, dude, that's not going to work out well for you.
No.
You're supposedly player's coach. This can work out one of two ways. He can right the ship and go talk to him man to man and tell him what the problem was and why he said it.
Which Antonio Pierce seems like the type of guy that would do that.
So do that.
Yeah.
You can right the ship at this point because the team is, despite what Frank wants to say right now, because he's emotional about it.
He's in his feels about it.
They're not the worst team in football.
No.
They played like it this weekend.
Yes.
Along with a couple other teams. Yeah. One being mine.
Yeah.
But they can right the ship. But if you let this get out of hand, it's going to get ugly fast, like Frank said.
It's going to get very ugly, yes. Very ugly.
It absolutely will.
But again, that's why you don't let players choose head coaches. It rarely, if ever, works.
Well, and it's funny. Davante Adams was one of the biggest guys to speak up.
He was.
That wanted him, and now he's calling him out in a fucking press conference after week 3.
But again, you're arguably one of the best receivers in football. You can't do that shit. You can't just take plays off and make business. I get it. You're getting blown out, but what kind of example is that? That's not the way you do things.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But there's a way to handle it and a way not to handle it.
Anyways, is there any other games you want to hit, or you good, or anything else?
No, I think we hit all of them other than maybe, the Green Bay and the Titans game.
Yeah, it really didn't do much for me.
No, although I will say.
Malik Willis looked decent.
Here's another example of somebody being set up to succeed as opposed to fail.
I told my buddy to pick him up for fantasy that day. He's like, "No, I'll be all right." Okay.
Well, he looked pretty fucking good.
Exactly.
And when you're making Malik Willis look good, there's something going right there because by all accounts, he did not look good up until this point. And not like there was a big track record for him, but still. I mean, he looked pretty fucking good.
I think he did too. So that's why that's just to me says there's no reason to rush Jordan Love back. No reason.
Wait a second. So Frank says they have one talent. He's talking about the Raiders again. They have one talented player on defense. They don't have a real quarterback. Frank, they have your guy. They have your guy at quarterback. He's your guy.
He is your guy.
He's Gardner fucking Minshew.
Well, Frank, here's what you do. You get his jersey, and he'll be gone.
Well, yeah, and then he'll go to another team.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Get his jersey, he'll be gone.
He says the O-line is not good, and as much as I like the guy, AP isn't the right call. Well, and I think we all kind of said that. AP wasn't the right call, and you've agreed with that. They have my favorite character.
What the hell does that mean?
I guess he's saying that Gardner Minshew is a character, not an actual football player.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
Yep.
All right. Anyways.
Yeah, all right. I can't argue that, Frank.
No. So. Get excited. Hockey's coming back, buddy.
I am pretty pumped about it. I love hockey.
We'll get into a season preview maybe next week or something.
We're getting into the season where you've got football, you've got hockey. It's the best time of year. It's fucking awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I love this time of year.
Yes.
Love it.
It's pretty good. You got postseason baseball coming up.
Yes, that's the other thing. Postseason baseball, where we can actually hopefully partake in watching it.
That would be nice.
With our team making it in the Tigers. I mean, it's.
I do want to hit on Michigan really quick. That's a bad loss for USC. I'm sorry. Like,
oh yeah.
You knew what they're going to do the entire game. They were just going to run the ball. They can't throw it at all, and somehow you still lost.
Somehow you still let them do that.
Like, amazing to me. That's a bad loss for USC. It really is. At what point are the higher ups at USC going to realize that Lincoln Riley's not a very good head coach? He's not.
Oh, they haven't realized that yet?
Apparently not.
I will say that was a bad loss for USC, and I will say it was a good win for Michigan. It was a win I did not anticipate them getting.
No, certainly not.
So, I mean,
especially running the offense the way they were running it.
Yeah, no matter how they won it, but just by running the football constantly.
It almost looked like Penn State 2.0 from last year.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, I mean,
but that was
Orji threw the ball for 32 yards, guys.
As I say, the difference being is there was actually the threat of McCarthy throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
This one was like, no, he's not going to throw it at all because he can't.
Nope.
We're just going to run it. We're going to give the ball to Edwards and
you want to hear Michigan's leading receiver?
Huh?
Michigan's leading receiver?
Oh, and they play without their best fucking receiver.
Yep.
In Loveland. Yeah.
Their leading receiver?
Yeah.
1 target, 1 catch, 5 yards.
Dope. Yeah.
Their passer was 7 for 12 for 32 yards. He completed 7 passes for 32 yards. But Khalil Mullings had 17 carries for 159 yards. He was cracking off 9.4 a pop. That's going to win you a football game.
It is.
But when you're cracking off 9.4 a pop, at what point in time do you sell out to stop the run? And try to make the quarterback, who I don't think can beat you.
No.
Beat you.
And they started somewhat doing that in like the mid-third quarter. They started doing that.
That's a little late.
And it worked. It worked until it didn't work. You know, it's like, well, if you'd just done that from maybe even the start of the second quarter, you'd probably win that game going away. You know, but they chose not to do that. So again, I'll take the W for Michigan. That's solid. Again, when you have a quarterback who everybody in the stadium knows isn't going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's a solid win, but it's a bad loss for USC because, again, and everybody else in the stadium and everybody else watching on TV knows that they're not going to throw it, and you still couldn't stop it. So, whatever, Take it. It's all good.
Yep. That orgy is not the type of orgy that P. Diddy likes. So, not a lot of scoring going on.
Can't stop, won't stop. Oh, my God.
Well, he made sure it couldn't stop, won't stop. He had enough lube.
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop. Anyways.
All right, on to the picks?
Yeah, on to the picks.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
I don't even want to know how bad I did.
You really don't.
I don't. I knew it. I just watching the games. I'm like, oh, lost that one. Oh, lost that one. Yeah.
So I will tell you that 2 of us basically won week 4 with college games.
Okay.
Myself and Eric were 3-5.
Okay.
Chris, you were 1-7.
Awesome.
Frank, you were 2-6. So that was the college picks.
Terrific.
It didn't get much better for you
I know
at
it did.
the NFL picks.
I know. It was bad.
So Frank, Eric, and myself all went 6-4.
Nice.
On multiple different games, right? We didn't have the exact same teams, but we all went 6-4.
Okay.
And you went 2-8.
Jesus. All right.
It was
bad.
Yes, Alicia, you did miss Let's Go Buffalo.
Oh, you did miss it.
You just got home, but hold on. I will play it for you. Because it led off the show. I played it.
I was going to say, all she's got to do is go back and watch the game from last night. So here,
yeah, the game last night had it a lot. But here you go.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
There you go. Does that make you happy? But yes, Frank says Chris Adamas is lacking.
Very much. Yeah.
So the overall of the year, which, listen, I'm leading, and if I'm leading in picks this year, we're all in fucking trouble.
Well, I won last year.
I know.
What does that tell you?
Well, you're really bad this year.
I know.
I have 26 wins, 32 losses, and 1 push.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm not even going to say. We all have one push, right?
Yeah.
So I'm leading with 26 and 32. Frank is in second at 25 and 33. Eric is in third with 24 and 34. Chris, you ready for this?
No.
You're 18, 40, and 1.
Hey, all right. Hey, nowhere to go but up, right?
I would hope so, Chris.
Fucking bad.
I'm not trying to rub it in, but it's been way worse than I thought it ever could be.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, it's really bad.
I've seen dogs jump up I've seen dogs pick teams better with bouncing a ball off their nose into 2 buckets.
I'm not gonna lie, it's getting to that point where I'm just gonna have both my dogs just pick for me.
Can you have Noonan or Carl make your next week's picks by just bouncing a ball off their nose into bucket?
No bullshit. If this week goes like last week, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna have my dogs pick for me.
There you go.
Like, all right, Carl. All right, Noonan, let's go. Like, I'll have Noonan pick the college games. I'll have Carl pick the NFL games, and we're good to go.
Listen, in keeping with your optimism, it's only up from here, right?
I guess.
So this week's picks can only be better than 3 and 15 total overall.
Terrible.
For last week.
Terrible.
So I'm hoping you didn't play any of those.
If nothing else, guys, whatever I pick, bet the opposite.
You'll win money.
You'll win a shitload of money. Now, if you want to throw some of that money back toward me, I'm not against it.
Listen, that's the way to go at this point until it stops being a trend.
Yes, I'm not against it, but again, we're gonna try to get back up on the upward trend here. So.
Eric says it's all ouch. Yes, Eric, it is not much better for us. The only thing is we are lucky. The three of us are lucky that we have Chris overshadowing our incompetence in picking this year.
Yes.
We all look like great pickers based on Chris's ineptitude so far. But the funny thing is, I'm actually willing to put money on it right now that you still win the league in fucking picks, that you're still going to end up beating us.
I don't know, man. I don't think this is my year, but we'll see. Again, if I start having the dogs make the picks, maybe. We'll see.
That's great.
All right. Anyways, we go on. We're going to start off with Virginia Tech taking on Miami. Miami's laying 19. I went back and forth on this, but we all took Miami.
Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo!
Nice. Next up, we have Oklahoma State taking on Kansas State. Kansas State is laying 6 in their lesbian quarterback. We all took Kansas State.
Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo!
Nice. I'm telling you, look at the picture of the guy. Pull up a picture of Kansas State's quarterback. Tell me he doesn't look like a lesbian.
I'm going to have to right now.
Like, I swear to God, the first time I saw a picture of him he didn't have like any pads on or shit like that, I'm like, that's a lesbian, 100%. And like, oh wait, that's Kansas State's quarterback. I mean, it's still worse than Joe Burrow looking like Ellen DeGeneres, but...
Oh, wow.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Like, that one looks like the dominant one in a lesbian relationship, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah, if not the top, definitely a power bottom.
That one is definitely the pusher, for sure. That's all I'm saying. Anyways. Let's get this back on the rails. Next up, we got Arkansas taking on Texas A&M. Texas A&M is laying 3.5. You guys all took Texas A&M. I took Arkansas.
Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo!
Seriously? Oh, my God. This sounds like the game last night. It really does. Next up, we got Oklahoma laying 2, taking on Auburn. You guys all took Oklahoma. I took Auburn.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout.
Hey, at least I got that going for me. The Bills are 3-0, so I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about that.
Up next, we got Louisville taking on Notre Dame. Notre Dame's laying 6.5. Joe, you and I took Louisville. Eric and Frank took Notre Dame.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout.
All right, good.
Alicia wanted it. She got it.
She's definitely getting it for sure. Up next, we got Illinois taking on Penn State. Penn State's laying 17.5. Joe, you and I took Illinois. Frank and Eric took Penn State.
I said the Lions won a game. Man, we going all the way. All the way, baby. We about to celebrate. Why? Because the Lions won a game, bitch.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's
go. Next up, we got Arizona taking on Utah. Utah is laying 12.5. We all took Utah.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout.
Next up, the biggest game of the week in college. Georgia laying 1.5, taking on Alabama. Joe, you took Georgia. Eric took Alabama. Frank and I also took Georgia. You can't let that shit happen. You can't.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
I mean, obviously, the Jaguars did not have that same mindset about not letting that shit happen.
No, they let that shit happen a lot.
They let that shit happen quite a bit.
I'm basically being the Jaguars right now.
Right? You really are. Next up, a game that, frankly, I don't give two shits about. Ohio State laying 25, taking on Michigan State. Oh, wait, they're enemies now. They were just friends like a week ago.
Yep.
Weird. We all took Ohio State.
Like Kobayashi.
In the last game on the college slate, we got Minnesota taking on Michigan. Michigan's laying 9. You guys all took Michigan. I took Minnesota.
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit.
Roll the boat, PJ Fleck. Roll the boat. Let's go. All right, moving on to the NFL slate. First up, we got Dallas laying 4.5 against the New York Giants. We all took the Cowboys.
Fuck you both.
Yeah, right. After that, we got Pittsburgh laying 2, taking on Indianapolis. You guys all took Pittsburgh. I took Indianapolis.
Let's go, Buffalo.
I gotta get back in this shit somehow, man. I gotta do it.
You were just taking opposites of us to try to get back.
I gotta get back in this somehow. Next up, we got Minnesota taking on Green Bay. Green Bay's laying 2.5. We all took Minnesota.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
It's gonna be Brett Favre pretty soon. Apparently, I heard he has Parkinson's.
I don't know. Michael J. Fox has lasted a while.
Fuck Brett Favre. Yeah, but here's the difference. Brett Favre's a terrible human being. Michael J. Fox is not.
All right, then.
After that, we got Jacksonville taking on Houston. Houston's laying 4.5. We all took Houston. Next, the Rams taking on the Bears. The Bears laying 2.5. We all took the Rams.
Never go full retard.
After that, we got Philly laying 2.5, taking on Tampa Bay. Joe, you and I took Tampa Bay. Eric and Frank. Oh, no, sorry. My fault. You, Frank, and I took Tampa Bay. Eric took Philadelphia.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
Up next, we got the Cleveland Browns laying 1, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys all took Las Vegas. I took your Brownies.
Everyone in this room is now dumber.
I mean, that's pretty true. You heard my record at the beginning of this. So, I mean, obviously, I'm taking that to heart. After that, we got Buffalo taking on Baltimore. Baltimore is laying 2.5. You guys all took Buffalo. I took Baltimore.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but...
Nice. That's a good one. I like that. Next up, we got Kansas City laying 7, taking on the Chargers. Joe, you and I took the Chargers. Eric and Frank took Kansas City.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I need fucking points, man. Shit. Next up, we got Tennessee taking on Miami. Miami's laying 2.5. You took the Dolphins. The rest of us took Tennessee.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That can't be true. I've said so many more stupid idiotic things on this show. In the last game of the week, always the biggest game of the week on the NFL slate, Seattle Seahawks taking on the Detroit Lions. Lions are laying 4.5. Joe, you took the Lions. We all took the Sea Chickens.
I work with retards.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Let's go, Buffalo! Let's go, Buffalo!
And those are the picks for this week.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yes.
Now, if anybody listening actually goes and plays those picks,
play the opposite
idiot.
of everything I picked. You're fine. You'll be good.
Well, your track record this year says that.
I know.
Listen, if everybody just went against you, they'd be 40-18 in a push. So they would be winning money so far.
Straight cash, homie.
Yep. Anything else you got?
Not to my knowledge, no. Other than what, Jey Uso finally won a singles championship last night, I saw?
He did, yeah. That was cool to watch. I watched that while I was, like, I had that on, I love YouTube TV.
Yeah.
I had the multi-game on my big screen.
Yeah.
And I had wrestling on my small screen. And I was able to watch all three things at the same time. It was fucking great. It was a great evening of watching sports and sports entertainment.
Yay, sports.
Yay.
Yeah. So that was cool.
But yeah, it was a good Raw too. I enjoyed it.
That was solid, no doubt. No doubt.
So, anything else?
No, that was not. That's it.
All right. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts at your favorite podcast provider. Yeet.
Yeet.
And check out SOTDET.com. While you're there, click on shop. We would appreciate it if you maybe bought some merch with our name on it. SOTDET.com. Click on shop. And while you're there, check out the blogs that Frank has wrote. Check out our picks section on the website. Also, check out the fantasy rankings, which I put out every week. See how wrong or right I was on some of those.
Can't be any worse than my picks.
Check those out every week. And, just check us out. And while you're there, again, click on shop. SOTDET.com. On behalf of Chris, Frank, and Eric, I'm Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no.
Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
Hey,
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.